Now concentrate on championship survival. Beaten in extra time by Southampton. Ultimately, James Bree's header the difference. Equalised through Oliver Skipp's overhead kick in the second half following Larin's penalty in the first period. Leicester had chances to win it at the end of normal time, and ultimately that they will have to reflect on as their opportunity to move through in this competition. Full-time score at St Mary's after extra time. Southampton 2, Leicester City 1.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, Leicester City exit the FA Cup at the 4th round. Welcome along to the post-match show here on Fox's Hub with me, Dan Bates. Paul Konchesky and Jerry Taggart are with me here in the studio. Matt Elliott will remain with us on co-commentary duty, of course, for us this afternoon as the game has gone to extra time, Leicester losing in that extra period. Paul, how do you assess the full 120 minutes?
Yeah, it's a tough one to take. I think, yes, they get a penalty just before half-time, and then we get ourselves back in, and the way we finished the second half of the 90 minutes game, I expect us to go on, especially in extra time, carry that on and go and win the game, and actually it weren't to be.
Yeah, disappointing, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, in all honesty, the extra time that was played was a little bit flat, wasn't it? I mean, the last 10, 15 minutes of normal time was, there was some really exciting stuff going on, but that didn't materialise in the last half hour, which is fair enough. It was a hard game on Tuesday night, hard to take. I mean, physically for both teams, and then
and mentally as well.
Yeah, mentally for both teams. Obviously the exhilaration of Southampton and the disappointment for Leicester to deal with, and then they go and play an extra 30 minutes. It just sort of fizzled out a little bit, and then obviously the goal itself. Southampton was a little bit unfortunate, or a little bit lucky, whatever you want to call it, with Patson Daka actually, with the assist for the Southampton fullback. So yeah, a little bit unlucky.
Yeah, we think, Matt, because it's a deliberate action from Patson Daka. I know you were questioning whether he was still offside. He was certainly offside from the original free kick, but I think it's a deliberate action, if you like, from Daka with the attempted headed clearance that I think then means, I guess, he's not offside anymore. On that. I could be completely wrong, but I think that is the case there.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I was thinking it would be along those lines. Struggling to find some solution that would work in Leicester's favour, but regardless, I knew it wouldn't be changed over because obviously no VAR, and once it's done, it's done. But albeit a bit of a strange ruling, I think, but not just because it worked against Leicester now. But anyway, that's a different matter. I was disappointed and a little bit frustrated that they weren't able to get that urgency in their play, really. And I know, listen, there's lots of reasons. Two teams with wholesale changes throughout. Southampton even more than Leicester, but youngsters in the mix as well. It was always going to be a little bit disjointed. Leicester weren't terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but the result in black and white doesn't look good, does it? It's another defeat, unfortunately. So it means an even bigger test of character down the line. But there are some little plus points. You can look at the performances today, and if anyone was like wildly outstanding, but it wasn't a horror show, and could quite conceivably have turned out the other way. It didn't. That's the way it is at the moment. They've just got to stay strong, hang tough a little bit as best they can, and try and find a way forward.
Yeah, Matt, you were kind of at one point intimating that maybe Leicester looked better when they're actually chasing the game, whether that was at the end of the 90 minutes or even then after Southampton had retaken the lead.
I think a lot of teams are, Dan, and I think Leicester in particular are. A lot of Leicester's problems partly have come down to when they've taken the lead in games and they've taken their foot off the gas a little bit. Just sort of slowed it down a little bit. They haven't upped the ante, if you like, and gone for the throat, gone for the kill, or they've started. Sometimes they've started sort of lackadaisical and struggled to recover. Because when they play at any sort of tempo and any sort of throttle about their game, they're as good as anyone in this league. It wasn't so long ago, Coventry, first half. What happened there? What was it, 1-0 they were up. It should have been 3 against the then league leaders away from home. The capability is there. It's for me, it's definitely sort of a mentality thing, and all they can do, like, what's done, I've said that a few times today, what's done is done, right? But learn from what has happened and change it, help it change you and grow you as a player, as a group. And if they can do that, if they can get that sort of togetherness and that determination, that professionalism, that ruthlessness, develop some ruthlessness, then you're talking, to get themselves out of this situation. But a few things have got to come together. I'm pretty sharpish.
Hi Matt, it's Jerry
Hello,
here.
mate. How are you, son?
All right, buddy.
Sorry about the two-footed bit earlier.
Yeah, that's all right.
Harsh but true. But true.
Just listening to what you were saying there, and I thought today, I don't know how you seen this, that Leicester got themselves into some good scenarios in the attacking half of the pitch, but then would just sort of slow it back down again and then go sideways or back or play safe on the ball instead of like being as ruthless as you were mentioning. I was wondering if that's how you seen it.
Yeah, there's probably different ways to term it, but that's one word for it. Show that sort of clinical aspect of things, ruthlessness, the cutting edge, however people describe it. But there's a little bit of down to lack of confidence, I think, Tag, which you're probably referring to. I remember one in the first half, Mavididi cut inside, and I thought for the world of me that it's teed up for him. He's going to hit this. It's perfect for him. He's good at it. He does it regularly. He probably practices it 50, 100 times a week. And he refrained from taking the gamble with the shot. And ducked inside. I think he played it out wide and it came across, but in the end it got snuffed out by the defenders. That's just one example. There was a few, a bit more purposeful in that where it matters. A bit more dynamic, maybe,
I think, like today, again, I think in this FA Cup tie, that was probably the perfect scenario for them to try and regain a bit of that confidence by being a bit more dynamic, by going for the juggler a little bit more.
Yes, yeah. Well, not just in hindsight either. I think before the game, come on, boys, come and show us that, there's a bit of spark there. There's some fight, and to a degree they did. They probably edged it if you're doing it on points, in a boxing match, whatever. They just got the split decision maybe, but they didn't get the main result. But Leicester just need a little bit more of that. It's difficult in times like these because everyone's feeling a bit bad for themselves and sorry for themselves, and confidence isn't flowing. We know that's a huge part of the game, but they've got to stand up big count. They've got to be strong. They've got to shrug that off. Like any element of doubt or indecision or hesitancy, no, I am what I am. I've got to play at this level for a reason. I'm a good player. Come on, let's knuckle down. Let's pull together and get ourselves out of this bother. It happened to a certain level, but not enough. It needs to happen more if they're going to produce results.
It's a good point that Matt makes, isn't it, Paul, there, that they just a little bit more endeavour, a little bit more drive, and just a bit more confidence maybe in front of goal wouldn't go amiss. Yeah,
but I think the recent results, it doesn't help. But like Jerry says, you're playing completely different competition now, and you'd like to see and hope that the confidence could have maybe came back today, playing in the FA Cup. Like you say, Mavididi would have normally done that. Well, let's try. Why can't we try in the FA Cup? Yes, it's important, but it takes the pressure off the league as well. So it's a shame. The run needs to stop, and it probably needs to stop quick. So I think it's a massive week now for Kingy and his staff to to get the boys up for the weekend in the league.
I mean, the players have to get confidence from somewhere, and that's invariably on the pitch. But, you know, and as I say, you know, there's only so much confidence the manager, the staff, and the players themselves can give each other and themselves. The rest comes from when you're actually on the pitch and obviously playing well and getting results. And today, because it was an FA Cup, there's no pressure on the league. And obviously, you know, things have got slightly worse for Leicester since this game took place. And so, for me, this was a perfect game. It's not the perfect game, but it was a scenario where, by being a bit more positive, by pushing yourself that little bit further, you could have had a chance of regaining some kind of confidence.
What, I mean, you've both been in dressing rooms, you've both had long careers. How is that done then? If results on the pitch consistently for a little period of time aren't good, how do you then off the pitch, whether that's at training or, I don't know, if it's a group activity or something, how do you try and get a bit of that togetherness? And well, not necessarily togetherness, because the group is together. It's clearly a bit of a confidence thing.
You probably hit the nail there, Batesy, there. I think maybe away from the training ground or maybe away from the stadium, even just for some food together or doing an activity. I think you need to, yes, you can't get and hide away from this, but you need to maybe get away and have a little bit of bantering away from the training ground and until we have to go to work again and start ready for the weekend.
Difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult, and lots of clubs have done it in the past. I don't know if it's such a big thing in the modern game because everybody's always scrutinised under pressure, you know, and the old saying comes out, you work harder on the training ground, but sometimes working harder on the training ground is the wrong thing to do. So it's a fine balance, and it's a difficult decision, a difficult way to lead your players.
Yeah, and I guess, Matt, as well, if, you know, back in your era, Martin O'Neill maybe would have taken you away somewhere or something, but I think that wouldn't look good, would it, in terms of, and I hate the use of the word optics, but it wouldn't look good for Leicester to do anything like that. So it's quite a difficult job to try and do, whether that comes from the players themselves, whether that comes from Andy King, the other coaching staff.
Yeah, no, I don't really think that would be the solution or the fix that people were hoping for, really. I remember times it wasn't always a bed of roses for us under Martin O'Neill or other managers, and a couple of times Mick Adams wanted us to go away, take us away, and I thought it might do the team good in terms of change of mood, but we didn't want to go away. We weren't sort of in the mood to go for frivolity, shall we say. We knew we needed to knuckle down and try and redeem the situation, which is, as we all know, and we're seeing now, and we've experienced it ourselves, is pretty hard to turn around. But no, I think. See, the thing is, you have to stay together. I mean, it sounds obvious, and it is. You have to stick together. You can't have any little splinters in the camp. You can't have anyone just, you know, not in big cliques or anything, but like not just getting together with their little group and saying, well, what about him? He can't do this, and they're not very good at that, and so it just sort of whispers in the background, and it just causes a bit of divide. Everyone's got to be backing each other, but you've got to have genuine belief in each other, which is important. Which I think in this division, and with the players, especially when they're all fit, I think there is a genuine belief that they can get results in this league. I think there's probably at times they maybe thought that the results might come easier than they have, and then there's been a bit of a vicious sort of spiral, hasn't there? There's been injuries, there's been points deductions, there's been, you know, the odd poor performance, and then it's all of a sudden it's in a situation. But there should be genuine belief that they can get themselves out of this hole, because the talent, the ability is in this squad.
Yeah, and you'd hope that starts in a week's time. The game against Stoke, Paul. Leicester won the reverse fixture in November here at King Power Stadium. Looked really good that day. Stoke themselves haven't won in 6. It's an opportunity, that, surely.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity. And I think, I reiterate what Matty said, I think you have to believe. I think the boys have to believe that they can get a result and work hard this week on the training ground. Forget what's gone on, and now it's time to move forward and start this weekend and get as many points as we can.
It's got to be the aim, hasn't it, Jerry?
Yeah, I mean, as Matt said, it was a decent performance. You know, there was some good stuff. So now it's about, you know, forgetting about this game and moving on to the next one, which is obviously another tough game away at Stoke at 12:30 kick-off as well. But, you know, they know what's coming their way and they've got to deal with it.
Yeah, a place you know well, Stoke. Jerry, I'm sure you'll be going, won't you, on Saturday? But again, will the fact that Stoke haven't won in 6, well, that might play a little bit into the game, that two teams potentially low on confidence?
Yeah, I mean, it will, because the Stoke fans will get on the Stoke team's back if they're not performing. I know that through experience. So, yeah, I mean, again, and then, as I say, hopefully, you know, the team will change. There'll be a few players back in who didn't start today. Yeah, and they've got to try and go there and play with confidence and play with belief.
Yeah, Stoke themselves, Matt, play Fulham tomorrow in the FA Cup. That is at home as well. So again, that run of form might change, or it might have been extended come next week. But the game today from a Leicester point of view, in terms of the league, is irrelevant. But in terms of the performance, if you like, and the battle that they did show in the second half, that they can certainly, as you said, take something from it.
Yes, small positives. Yeah, I just listen. End of the day, so it's about the results, isn't it? But Leicester can deal with this today. The league is the main focus, of course. But yeah, performance reasonable in some instances and some periods of the game, but also extra blood in for those younger players who acquitted themselves relatively well. It's extra part of their development, because, like it or not, it seems that a fair few of them are going to be quite heavily relied upon in the end of the season, certainly more than people would have envisaged. Luku, I like him. I like his spirit. I like his character, the way he comes across on the pitch, quite physical as well. He's up for the challenge. We know about the other boys, talented individuals. So, you know, it's an extra bit of growth for them, if you want to look at, you know, put a positive spin on it as best you can. And not overly disheartening, aside from the result. You know, there was sort of, I mentioned it a few times lately, this phrase, you know, chinks of light there, and Richards coming on. Looks raw, looks a bit as if he'll be sort of in and out of games, but he looks like it could click at certain times, and he could be quite impactful. Bukasa again showed his quality, his class. He's very smooth, isn't he? So, and then you've got Aribo coming in. You know, there's different aspects of it. So, can't afford to be downhearted, feeling sorry for yourself, doom and gloom. Onwards and upwards. Pull together. Believe, as Conch says there. Give yourselves half a chance for next week.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matt. Safe travels back up the, is it M1, is it, to Southampton or not, Jerry? Well, anyway, he'll be making his way back up this evening. So safe travels to Matt. Thank you to Paul Konchesky, to Jerry Taggart. We'll be looking ahead, of course, as we have been, to that game with Stoke back in the Championship at the weekend. That is a 12:30 kickoff, the early one, as Jerry Taggart rightly pointed out just a moment ago. That means we'll be live from 12 o'clock. All the details are on Fox's Hub as to what will be available for you, whether you want to watch or to listen to all of the action with us that day. Thank you to everybody that has tuned in, though. Fair play to the 1,600 Leicester fans as well that travelled down to the south coast for that FA Cup game today. Unfortunately, it has ended in defeat, and the Foxes are out in the 4th round. But it's all focus on the league game in a week's time. We'll see you for that one. Goodbye.